Hi, so today I'm joined with Joe Norris from Get Your Tips Out, and we're talking about ITV racing tips for Saturday and the weekend's racing. So, Joe, let's jump straight into it. So, it's Ascot. So, in the first race at Ascot, the 120, who's your tips and who do you think's got the best chance of winning, or are you looking for an each-way chance?
Yeah, so I always love Champions Day. I think it's a brilliant day, and I'm hoping that it can kick off with a champion in Kyprios. Now, I've seen a lot of people who are trying to sort of take him on. I think it's from a price perspective more than anything, because I think he was around 4 to 6 for this race, like anti-post. He's eased now to 4 to 5. He's looked back to his very best this season. He's gone a perfect 6 from 6. You look at his form; it's all working out well. He beat Trushan easily in France last time. I think he's really difficult to go against. Now, I'm not telling you much. He's 4 to 5 favourite, but I think this is definitely a case of keeping it simple, and I think he will win this.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he should be more like a 1 to 2 shot. I probably wouldn't touch him if he was 1 to 2, 4 to 9, 2 to 5 kind of price range. I'd be looking at maybe Trawlerman, maybe as an each way chance, but
Yeah,
I don't think he beats Kyprios, if I'm being honest. Like you said, throughout the week, other tipsters have tried to take him on, but he's got an unblemished 6 from 6. So I think I don't really like tipping up odds on shots, but at the end of the day, I'd sooner tip up an odds on shot that wins than try and take on another one that doesn't. So I
yeah,
think it's pretty simple in the first Kyprios for myself as well.
exactly. Like when they're this sort of price, you say to yourself, what are the weaknesses? Now, one of the big weaknesses can be the ground. At the moment, it's soft. It's going to dry out a bit, but then there's apparently more rain due. But this horse just handles all types of ground. Like you've only got to look at his form this season. He's won on good to firm, good, soft. He's won on all types of ground. So from
Yeah.
that perspective, I think he's really hard to get away from.
Yeah, for sure. Now, moving on to the second race, the 155 on Champions Day at Ascot. No, this isn't an odds-on shot. This is quite an open field. So,
Yeah.
who's your thoughts on this? Are you looking to play one or two of them in the race? Because obviously you've got 6 to 1 favourites, so it's a huge betting perspective. You've got certain bookies paying top five for each way bets. So, what's your play in this race?
So I've got a really strong play in this race, and I've already backed her. I backed her yesterday, and it's Unequal Love for William Haggis. Now, I've had my eye on this filly all season, to be honest. She returned with a win at Newmarket, which was a good performance. She went to Royal Ascot and won the Wokenham, which is obviously over course and distance. And then I thought she ran another big race at York when she finished third. She was only beaten a length in that. That looks like good form. The time of that race was good as well. She then went to Haydock in the Sprint Cup. She was only beaten a length behind stablemate Montasib. And if you watch that race, she suffered a bit of trouble in the run and then came home really well. Now Haydock would sort of favour speed a lot more than Ascot, and I think we know she obviously loves this course and distance, having won over it already. And I can see her really hitting the line hard. Another horse, you look at the ground, she's proven in soft ground. She won in soft ground at Ripon last year. So whatever happens with the weather, she's going to cope with it. And I think 12 to 1 is too big. I can see her going off sort of 7 or 8s, if not shorter.
My play each way on this is a 12 to 1 shot as well. We bet 365. It's audience. Obviously, I was chatting to you prior to jumping on the video here, and we was chatting about can we forgive her last run because her last run wasn't great. But she's the highest rated horse in the race, and she's been running over 7 furlongs and a mile. The drop back in distance to 6 furlongs, and then obviously Joe, you was telling me that it's a difficult 6 furlong race. A lot of people say you need a 7 furlong horse to stay the distance. So I think this drop back to 6 would help her. She's got a lot of speed. She'll burst out and be up there. So the highest rated in 12 to 1, I think she's got a great chance.
Yeah, I mean, if you forgive that York run, he won at Newbury and Goodwood, and now that Goodwood win was really impressive. Um, So yeah, I think it's one of them where if he did bounce back and was at his best, it wouldn't be a massive surprise. Um, but for me, I worry about him at Ascot. I just think you really need to hit that line hard. Um, and I
Yeah.
think I'm happier to be on a closer like Unequal Love for me.
Yeah. So in the third race, the 2:35 on Saturday's racing on ITV, then who's your play in this?
Yeah, so I think this time of year you want to be on a filly that's improving, and I know Kalpana's favourite for this, but she fits the bill. I mean, I was really impressed with that Kempton win. She was backed like she couldn't lose, and she won it nearly 5 lengths. She was impressive. I think she's still got more to come. She still sort of showed signs of inexperience that day, which is weird because you think she's had seven runs now, so she should know what she's doing. But I think that's probably even more encouraging that she can improve again. I know this is a good race, but 3-1 I think is about the right price, and I think she's a one to beat.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Kalpana's my nap of the day. So I think, yeah, she's improving. I think she'll improve again for the last run. There was signs of greenness and stuff in there, so I think she's my best bet of the day at 3-1. I
Yeah,
think she might end up becoming quite a bit shorter as well. So I think she's 3-1 at a few different bookies at the moment, like William Hill and stuff. But I think she's going to be going off 2-1, 9-4 myself. But
mm.
let's see on what happens. But in the fourth race, the 3:15 on Champions Day at Ascot, who are you thinking in this?
Yeah. So with this, now Charin's been a horse I've never been able to catch right. When I back him, he gets beat. When I don't back him, he wins. That seems to be the theme. But I do think he wins this. I mean, he was impressive in France. He won that Group 1 by 3 lengths, and then last time at Longchamp, Tribalist they just let him go, and they just couldn't. He just couldn't get him back in time. He was running on really well, and he didn't lose anything in defeat there for me. We know that he goes well at this track. He beat Docklands here in the Queen Anne. I mean, he's really hard to pick holes in. I think the danger is definitely Tamfana, and definitely if there's more rain, I think that will give her a bigger chance. She's loved coming back down to a mile, but again, this is a big step up. Even on that Newmarket win last time, the Sun Chariot, I think this is a better race, so she's going to need to be better again. And I just think Charin's so reliable now. He's run well all season. And again, 7-4. I think you could argue again that he could be even shorter than that.
I think he will be. I think Charing is my next best. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna be putting a big lucky 15 on tomorrow. I'm doing Kit Prios. I'm doing Charing. I'm doing economics, which is in the next, which we'll speak about, and then obviously the nap of the day of Kalpana.
Capana.
Um, I think that last run, you're saying you lost nothing in defeat. I thought it was a shocking ride by the other jockeys, if I'm being
Yeah,
honest. To allow that horse to go so far clear, like if
yeah,
they rerun that race again, Charing wins it 9 times out of 10.
yeah.
So I think it wasn't a good ride by the other jockeys. They allowed Tribalist to go on and kick too far clear. And he came on staying on, and he had no chance. Like
No,
2 furlongs out, he had no chance of
I think you can mark it. You can mark it up as well because
for
you know
sure.
how it is. If one horse goes clear, sometimes you need another horse to take you into it to then
Yeah,
close the gap. Whereas he had to just make all his own ground up.
exactly
And I
that.
mean, he got beat more or less a length at the line.
Yeah,
So I think you can mark it up. I think it was a big run.
yeah, I do definitely. So the second from last race on Champions Day at Ascot in the 3:55. Who's your best bet, or who are you thinking in this? Are you thinking one of there's two joint favourites there, or are you checking both of them on and looking for an each way chance?
I've got a couple of angles in. So first of all, let's talk about the co-favourites. So the French horse Calandigan, I really respect this horse. I think it's a really, really good horse. Again, I don't think he lost much in defeat behind City of Troy at York. I think that was a big run. At one point, he actually looked like he was looming up before the winner sort of just found more. I think for him, he's going to need a bit more rain. So if there's a lot of rain on Saturday morning, I think that's going to depend what happens in this market. If it dries out, I think Economics is definitely the one to beat. I've been so impressed with him all season. He just seems to have improved. Obviously, last time at Leopardstown, he beat Augusta Road in the neck. He had to really dig deep, and I think that's encouraging to see such a good attitude, because I do think he might cope with the ground. I know in his breeding he's got some national hunt breeding as well. So I always think that's quite encouraging. If the ground's testing, they normally handle it. He's obviously still massively unexposed. He's only had 5 starts, so he could improve again. I think at the prices, I'm definitely going to be in the Economics camp. From an each way perspective, I can see King's Gambit running quite a big race. Now, I just checked the market for without the top 2, what price, and he's 11-2. I think that's quite a tempting bet. He's 20-1 in the outright. I don't think he can win, but I think he could hit the frame.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you, that last race of Economics at Leopardstown, in my opinion, was the race of the year. Like, for a 3-year-old to go and beat the best version of Augusta Road on, things not to go right in the race. He was wide. He needed to go, then he needed to come back, and then he needed to go again. He showed the attitude as a 3-year-old as well against the older horses. I was so impressed with it. The only reason why Economics isn't my nap of the day is because the French horse does look great as well. And there's due rain to come tomorrow. And I think it would suit the French horse more. But I think Economics is improving. I think he's unbelievable. Like that last race, I was just absolutely astonished by how well he went to show the attitude to come and beat the Augusta Road on in that when things didn't go well as well. So he's my 4th one in my lucky 15 of what I'm going for myself.
Yeah.
Then the last race, so the 4:35, it's a big open race. It's the Balmoral. I know this very well. I've had runners in it previously myself. I've actually looked to acquire 1 or 2 of these horses in the Tattersall sales when they've been there. So I know it pretty well. And an improving 3-year-old the favourite could run a great race. But what's your thoughts in this race? Who are you going with the favourite? Are you going to try and choose 1 or 2 outsiders each way? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking away from the top of the market. It's not a race that I'll be going mad in. I'll be backing 2 against the field. The one I quite like Days of Our Lives for Marco Botti. I actually had my eye on it. When it ran at Newmarket on return, it got beat ahead. Now, the time of that race was really good. So I had my eye on him next time out. He went up in trip to 1.25 miles and then he got beat. He ran well, finished 2nd. Then he obviously went to the Royal Hunt Cup, only got beat 1.5 lengths in that to finish 4th, which was a massive run. And then won at Doncaster last time. Gone up £4, but if you look at his overall profile, he's really unexposed. I like the angle of dropping back down to 1 mile on this straight track. I think he'll relish this, and I think I'll be surprised if he's not at least in the frame. I think he's going to run a big race. And the other one I've took a flyer on is Holloway Boy for Carl Burke. So obviously Carl Burke's got the favourite. I think Ryan Moore's going to be on Thunder Run, and Buick's been booked for this one. Now, obviously Holloway Boy is the horse that won the Chesham on debut, which I don't think had happened for years and years. But then he didn't win until the other day, last month at Haydock, when he beat Prague. Now, obviously, Prague has franked that form since, coming out and thrashing Poker Face in a Group 2. So that form's good. So I feel like if Holloway Boy can repeat that, I think he could go close. And the market's sort of ignored him. Now, earlier in the week, he was around 20-1. He's come into 12-1, but I still think 12-1, looking at the final decks, looks like quite a good price. So I think Days of Our Lives and Holloway Boy, the 2 I'm going to have a tickle on.
The only thing, I backed Holloway Boy last time, and I think he's a great horse. But top weight in the Balmoral, running in this ground conditions at top weight, he would need to be a Group 1 horse.
Yeah, but
Because he's going to need 10, in my opinion, you're going to need to have £10 in. To win this race, you need £10 in hand. So
yeah,
I'm trying to choose one that I feel's got still £10 worth of, not of improvement, but 10, they've slipped down the weight slightly and they've got £10 in hand. Now, don't get me wrong, I think he's an absolute brilliant horse, but I'd be very surprised if the top weight wins this race tomorrow.
yeah. But then you look at the ground. Obviously, a lot of his form is on good ground and quick ground. But he comes second to Cicero's Gift in soft ground at Sandown, so you know he handles it.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think his action, he looks like he handles it as well. If you look at even the run at York, he finished third behind Thunder Run.
yeah,
He got beat a length and a half, giving him loads of weight.
yeah,
And he's 12-1 and Thunder Run's 6-1.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I just feel like, in terms of value, I think he's a good each way bet. I do sort of agree with you. It's going to be a massive performance to win off that weight.
Yeah.
But I think he's a good bet to hit the frame. So that's my angle.
On mine, we went into the ring to buy this horse, and I think this horse has been absolutely laid out for this race, and it's Latam. So
Yeah.
he's 17 on the list there. I pretty much know he's got about £12 in hands of what he can do. So he won the Irish Cambridgeshire. He beat, literally, we had second and fourth in that race. He beat Saltonstall by a short head.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Just came at the last thing. He was unlucky in running on that day as well.
Yeah.
I think this horse has been bought and has been laid out for this race personally. So I think that he's a great each way shout. The Sky Bet are paying top 7 places and is 14-1 in several different bookmakers. And I think he'll like the ground. He goes on good. He goes on heavy. The soft ground will be absolutely fine. And I think he'll have a great chance in this race. He's not in my lucky 15 because obviously it's such an open race. But
Yeah.
I'll be having a nice each way. Paying top 7 places. That's my one for the last. The other one I might throw a little bit of an each way on is Bull Pedro. I think he's got a little bit more up his sleeve on the weights and stuff. But a little bit older, maybe not as good as bet. My bigger bet will be with Latam each way.
I'm not surprised you've tipped Latam because I'm just looking at the Irish Lincolnshire now. You had 6 of your horses in that race.
We did, yeah. We had 6 runners and we got second, fourth, 6th and 7th. And this horse got not very good. William Haggis brought him over, who used to train it, and brought him over. And then he had 1 or 2 other great runs in Premier Handicaps. He then got sold in Tattersalls. We wanted to get in, and he's just not sure whether he's just lost it and gone slightly sour. But he's a great horse, and I just feel like he's been laid out for this race. He likes the ground. He loves the stiff mile, and I'd be very surprised if he doesn't at least hit the top 3, top 4. So I think he's a great each way bet myself.
Yeah, funny enough, he's got form that ties in with Hafi Alain. And that's who Days of Our Lives also finished behind at Newmarket.
Yeah.
So that's form that I rate as well. So yeah, I mean, especially at the price. What price is he? 14-1.
14-1, mate. I think it's a great price.
Yeah, that's a good price. Yeah.
But anyway, I hope you like the tips for Saturday's racing. They're all featured on ITV, and it's Champions Day. It's a great day at Ascot. If anyone's going there, we hope you follow the 6 tips that me and Joe from Get Your Tips Out have provided, and we'll see you again soon.